Hey everyone, this is the quiz expectations for quiz number 7. It's going to be on lines, mainly graphing lines, slopes, things like that, but I'll review some things here first. Make sure when you do the quiz, as always, do honest work. Don't use any apps or websites. Cheating is frowned upon. You can use a calculator though. Try your best. Good luck. Don't forget to complete 10 more lessons each week. The next quiz, number 8, will be in 2 weeks, which will be Friday, February 11th. So, this quiz topic is on lines, like I said. So the first 2 questions are going to deal with 2 parallel lines cut by a transversal. So you see the 2 parallel lines in the center there. I'll go over them in a different blue pen. These are the parallel because they don't intersect, but they're cut by this transversal that goes through the 2 parallels. So that's this one. This is called the transversal. And it gives you an angle measure to start with. So it tells us measure of angle 8 is 121 degrees. Find the measure of angle 2 and 3. So these are the ones I'm trying to find out. Well, when you have 2 parallel lines cut by a transversal, 4 of the angles are the same measure. So 4 of these angles are going to be the 121, and then we got to find the other 4 missing degrees. So ones that are across from each other, like 6 and 8, are called vertical angles, and they are the same. These are both obtuse angles. Likewise, up at the top, the 1, 2, 3, 4 cluster, the 121 for 2 and 4 are also the same. So 2, 4, 6, and 8 are all 121 degrees. Now, how do you find the other missing angle? Well, you should know that these 2 together form a line, and a line is 180 degrees. So you're going to take, to find angle 7, you're going to take 180 minus 121. And that's going to be 59 degrees. And then likewise, the one across from it is 59. And that means 1 and 3 are also 59. So you're always going to have 4 obtuse angles, 4 acute angles when you have this. Now this one's a little more advanced because it only gives you one angle here is 75. But we should know the one across from it is also 75. And then these 2 also have to be 75. So that's going to help us figure out the values of z first. And then we'll use that information to find x. So if 6z minus 111, that has to be equal to 75. You can write a mini equation there. It's a 2-step, so we're going to add 111 to both sides. You get 6z equals 186. And if you divide both sides by 6, you get z is 31. And you can double check if 6 times 31 minus 111, does that actually equal 75? And this is 186 minus 111, and yeah, that does equal 75. Now to find angle x here, together these 2 have to add up to 180. So to find this angle, you're going to take 180 minus 75, and you get 105. So this is 105. So x is 105 and z is 31. Then the next topic gets into slopes. So I don't know when you learned slope in school if you knew of this Mr. Slope guy, but if you have an eyebrow going left to right, going uphill, that represents a positive slope. Downhill is negative. If you draw a vertical line for a nose and put a U underneath, that means a vertical line has an undefined slope. And a mouth like this with 2 with zeros at the end mean a horizontal line has 0 slope. So let's check this out. A vertical line is undefined. This one, as you, line 2, read it left to right, it goes uphill. So this is positive. Versus line 3 goes down left to right, that is negative. And the one that's no incline whatsoever has 0 slope. So this will be important to know when we get into graphing the lines here, which is next. Graph the line y equals 2x. So this is in the form y equals mx, and this number right here in front of x is the slope. So we have y equals 2x, so you can put that 2 over 1, and slope is rise over run. And since there's no plus b number here, at the end there's like a 0, which means this crosses through the origin at 0, 0, and I have to rise 2 from that point and run to the right 1. Rise 2, 1, run. Or you can go down and to the left, and then that would be your line. So that is a positive 2 slope. Second example here is in the form y equals mx plus b. Now we have a number at the end. This is the y-intercept, which goes on the y-axis. So I'm going to go down to -3, put a dot on the y-axis. Then the slope is a -1. That is the number in front of x, and you can put a 1 underneath. So this means a -1 rise and a +1 run. So if I drop down 1, I'm running to the right 1. Or I can go up and to the left. Up 1, left 1. So this would be a negative slope. Additionally, you're going to have to graph one with a fraction in the front. So again, the -4 goes on the y-axis first. And the slope is 2/5. And it's positive. So we're going to rise 2, run 5. So from the point of -4, go up 2 to -2, and run to the right 5. Up 2, run to the right 5. Or go down 2 and to the left 5. And this would be your line. Then you have to graph vertical and horizontal lines. So x equals 2. Find on the x-axis 2 and mark a dot. This line has to go up and down and pass through the x-axis. So the line passes through the x-axis at 2. And to refresh your memory on slopes that we talked about earlier, that slope is undefined. Similarly, you have y equals -3. So now you want to go on the y-axis and go down to -3, and it has to pass through the y-axis at that point. Okay, so that slope is horizontal. It has a slope of 0. Find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So the y-intercept is on the y-axis. So here's the y-axis, the one that goes up and down, and the point that it passes through is 4. Or you can write that as an ordered pair 0, 4. Likewise, the x-intercept is on the x-axis. So here's the x-axis. Find where the line crosses, and it's down at -4. Or you can write that as -4, 0. Find the slope of the line that's graphed. So again, you got to take note, negative slope slant to the left, positive slope slant to the right. And slope is always a rise over a run. So from the red dots, we're going to count rise over run. So we're going to start down here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 is the rise. And let me switch colors. 2 is the run. So if you write that as a fraction, the 4 was the rise, the run was 2, you should reduce this, and that's just 2, or 2 over 1. So the slope of this line is 2. Let me just do another example with a negative so we understand here. Say I have these points. Okay, if I want to go from point to point, let's say this point here to this point, you need to rise 1, run 2, so that's 1/2, but the line is slanted left, which means it's a negative 1/2. So that would be the slope of that line. And then finally, slope of a line passing through 2 points. So this follows the formula y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. If you label these points, this is x1, y1, and the second point is x2, y2. So when you substitute into this formula, you're taking the second y value, which is negative 8, and subtracting the first y value of 6. Similarly, we're going to start with our second x value, subtract a negative 4. And you really have to be careful on the signs here. So on the top, negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14. On the bottom, these two negative signs will make one big plus sign, so it's like 3 plus 4, which is 7. And this divides out to negative 2. So hopefully that gave you enough review. You can jump to the quiz and do those 10 problems. Like I said, expect another quiz in 2 weeks on the 11th. And don't forget about doing 10 lessons each week. Email me if you have any questions.